Welcome into the Pursuit of Manliness podcast, where we are vigorously equipping men to pursue biblical manliness. Men, the registration for the next session of Tribe that will begin December 1st, 2020 is already open. We've already had men sign up and secure their spot. You can go to thepursuitofmanliness.com/tribe. There you will find a plethora of information about Tribe, what it is. There's a video of me talking about it. There's a lot of questions answered at the bottom of that page, and you can also find the link to register. Again, the next session of Tribe will begin December 1st, 2020. You can secure your spot today. All right, men, at this time, I want to welcome a tribe of men. It's more like a herd than a tribe at this point. I think I'm looking at here, we got about 18 guys on this call. What we want to do on this conversation, you're going to hear from a lot of guys who are in Tribe. Perhaps some of these guys you've seen in the closed group or in other groups. These are really high caliber men. I say that a lot, but it's true once you get to know them and get to have these conversations. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see who they are, good dudes. But what I want to do is I want to let them talk. You hear enough of me through video and podcasts, et cetera. I want you to hear from them. This is about Tribe. We do this a couple times, no, 2 or 3 times, and it's a chance for you to hear their story. I'm not telling them what to say. They can attest to that. We're just letting them share what they want to share. So the first question that I have is for the new guys, the guys that jumped in. I'm going to assume a lot of you guys didn't know, very many guys in Tribe. Maybe you knew a handful, or maybe you knew of certain guys. So for you guys that are new, I'm going to start with Ted Schuster. Ted, would you just tell us what made you decide, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sign up for this thing. And what made you sign up?
Hey, so Jarrett and I happened to know a mutual friend. And then I had the privilege of being able to talk with Jarrett a little bit before, and he told me what this was all about. He told me there had been 4 sessions prior. And I'm a former military guy. I spent 20 years in, so that's like 20 years in a lot of different units with a lot of different camaraderie. And I was looking for that. I've been out of the Army for a little over 3 years now. And I miss that brotherhood. I miss that one thing that unites us as a group. I've got some friends at church, but there isn't anything that we do on a frequent basis. And this sounded like an opportunity to become part of a group of men that the main focus was Christ. Everybody in this group loves Christ, and it's a bunch of guys. So that's the center of our focus. And with Christ being the center of a focus between, I think we had 57 guys originally sign up for this. That's bigger than a platoon in the Army. And I was like, I'm all about that. Let me into that. Let me find some like-minded guys, some guys my age. And what that's turned into here is this being my first session, I have never been able to shake hands with anybody you see here on the screen. And there's not a doubt in my mind now that if I blast out, I need a prayer request, or I need help, or I'm coming through your state, I need a place to stay, that I would get denied by anybody on the screen.
Amen. Michael Staton, what about yourself?
Well, for me, honestly, at my church, over the past couple of years, I had been looking around and noticing that the presence of men had been dwindling down, and it was kind of disturbing to me. And so I began to search for groups on Facebook, just that I could be a part of, just men's groups that would speak life into me, speak scripture into me, and help me to grow as a man. And, I just kept thinking about the fact that we need Christian men to step up. And I remember I was in a hotel room in Kentucky a year ago, and I was studying and reading in Psalms 12, and the verse that kept coming to my mind was, "Help, Lord, for the godly man ceaseth." And it was like David was crying out that we need godly men. There's no more. And that's how I feel about our churches and our society, that there's just this lack of presence of godly men. And so when the session of Tribe opened up, the Lord just allowed me to be able to get in here and man, it's exceeded my expectations of, like Ted said, camaraderie, and it's just been a huge blessing. The Bible says two are better than one, and a threefold cord is not easily broken. When you have such an awesome group of guys that are all centered on Christ and helping each other out, man, it's an awesome thing.
Yeah, I'm going to have to piggyback on that. This is my second session of Tribe. Came in the first one and the last one. I'm one of, I don't know, 2 West Coast guys that are out there. And I was looking for something that, the idea of, men getting together and doing stuff. So I belong to a couple Instagram groups, and Jarrett was on one of those groups. And so I kind of was checking out his stuff and saw the Pursuit of Manliness. Says, hey, this is pretty good stuff, and was following that for a while, and then heard the podcast about Tribe and said, hey, this sounds like something that's really cool. Guys move in the same direction, all men of faith. This sounds like something I want to give a shot. And it's like, okay, I'll give the first one a shot in that. And the first one, I kind of sat back a little bit, and maybe back a little too far. But man, just like was said, I haven't seen any of these guys or shaking their hands. I haven't given Ted a high five, but I know these guys would hit the ground on their knees if I really needed prayer in that, and it's happened through this group, and I feel more connected with these guys than I do anybody in my area. So it's been fantastic for that.
Ted seems more like a hugger than a high fiver.
For me, this is my first session as well, and there's no way I would want to ever hug Ed Schuster. But if I remember in the book Walden that Henry David Thoreau wrote that most men, the masses of men, lead lives of quiet desperation, and that was kind of me. Prior to joining Tribe, I had been following, I think, the Pursuit of Manliness for a while, but I've been more of a Tribe lurker. It seemed like, it's a 6-month session. So it seemed like every time I checked on it, every time I heard about it, it wasn't registration time. And then I think that not this session, but the last session, I almost joined. And then, yeah, you alluded to before we started recording, I thought, $150? Why would I do that? And so I think that's a lot of guys fall into the trap of, just give me something for free, and I'm sure that'll be enough. And what they don't understand is you have to make an investment in yourself. And not only that, but the return is just so much more. It's not even about the money. I was looking for a group of men who love the Lord, and I found that. And, I don't want to sound like a broken record that everyone else keeps saying the same thing, but we know that even though we haven't met each other, I know that if I have a need, I know if there's a person in my family that's hurting, or if there's something going on in my life, that I can reach out to anybody in this tribe or the whole group. And I know that I've got an army of prayer warriors at my back, because let's face it, I'll pray for you is one of the biggest lies Christians tell. But I know that within this group, that's not the case. I know that if I ask for prayer, that these men are going to pray. And that's just meant the world to me. And not only that, but it's just meant it's made such a difference in my daily walk with Christ. I know that I'm not alone in my struggles. I know that I'm not going through anything unique that a lot of other guys in my age group are going through. I know that I'm no better or worse than anyone else. It's been a game changer in my spiritual walk and my walk with Christ daily.
To be honest, like many of the others said, I found the Pursuit of Manliness on Instagram, actually, first, and would see the messages there. Instagram is kind of brief, and then, people start chit-chatting, and from that, it turned to the podcast. And for me, I was not looking for a community of men to join. I was looking for something to guide younger men to some community where they could share their faith more, and not reinvent the wheel. which we've talked about before. And for me, it's become both something that I would highly recommend to the young men in the congregation that I'm working with, and something that I plan to continue pursuing, because it's a give and take. You take a lot out of it when you're sitting in the calls, but you have to give as well. You have to be able to participate. And there are plenty of guys that will sit there and listen and absorb and get re-energized by it, but you also have to be willing to participate and put into it. So for me, it wasn't something that I was looking for, but it is now something that I've found and I, plan to be a part of. It gives you the opportunity to do things that men, not saying non-Christian things, just things that men like to do, like rib each other constantly. We do that all the time. We abuse Ted Schuster to no end, but we still love him. So, and yes, Mike, I know that's probably a strong term for you, but it's a great community to be a part of, and it's something that young men, that middle-aged men, that older men, more in my frame, need, because you can't really speak about these things with a lot of men because they don't want to hear it.
So I was gonna say, I had met Jared through a mutual friend. Had the opportunity to go on Jared's podcast. I think it was last year, right? Maybe. And then I've been following Jared for a while. When I was on deliveries, listening to the podcast, and then staying in tune with Instagram and all that jazz. And I talked to Jared that I wanted to do it eventually, but it just didn't have the right time. And then so I decided to join up because with all this COVID stuff was going on, haven't really been going to church. And I just feel like I really needed some guys to be around, or just something to replace the Sunday thing and then still keep me on track. But the bit, like most of you guys here, the support that I've gotten either on Instagram or Facebook, some of you guys know some of the things that I do, and supported the business and things like that. And that's been amazing to just get the encouragement, because there have been some dark times and things like that. But also too, I think the biggest thing was the video challenges, because I look forward to that every week, even though things get really hectic and busy, and I'll still go on and watch all the videos. And that to me is probably the biggest testimony, to see guys struggle, to work through things, to hear the prayer requests, to see the day-to-day, and the openness and the vulnerability, because I've been a lot of men's groups over the years, but you don't see or hear the genuineness, because a lot, like you said, you can hide a lot. Oh, I'm praying for you, or you can see like everyone could wear a mask, and you don't really see the true essence of who that person is. So I think I've been really blessed by a lot of you individuals we've communicated in the last couple of months, and just to see you living that out has been a huge encouragement to me.
I'll jump in here. This is my third tribe session. I did 2 tribe sessions, and then I did not do the last session, but I came back. But the session that I missed, I wanted to try to get a men's group going in my local church. So when the last session that I was in came to an end, I approached several men, and just about trying to do, not exactly try, but just trying to do an active men's group. And I was surprised at the number of men that just outright told me no. And then I finally got a couple guys who said that they would be willing to do some study with me. One being really excited about it, but within a week or two, he had dropped off. He kept promising me that he would catch back up. The other guy kind of participated, But, I asked probably a dozen guys. I had two that were willing to do something with me, and both of whom, after about 2 months of it, I kind of gave up trying to drag them along to do anything. So, this tribe is a group of men. Not everybody's completely in, but a group of men who jump in and just guys I can count on, and it's been a great blessing.
I'm looking at, speaking of Clay, guys that do multiple sessions, I'm looking at the registrations. All time, we've had 215 registrations for Tribe. 109 of those come from guys who are in it more than once, 2, 3, 4. Some guys have been in it, they've already committed to the 7th one. And I think, to me, that's the testament of the longevity. And guys will say, well, like, what's the secret sauce? And I'm like, it's the quality of men. God has sent us high quality men. And so we realize we all, as Bill said, we all have something to add to the conversation. But when you get around guys like this, you're like, but man, I have so much I can take away. So for you guys that have been in, 2, 3, whatever sessions, what has made you sign up again? What made you come back for this next one here? Like Clay just said.
Well, I'll go. So this is my second session of Tribe. And the first, when I joined Tribe, I was listening to the podcast, and I was in an area of my life that said, you need to be more of a man, not just some pogue that's in an office somewhere or doing something, but you need to be more of a man. And so my heart's desire was to get around a group of guys. And I'll be honest, the first session, I was a little apprehensive, but as that 6 months went by, just the quality of men that I was interacting with, receiving text messages and emails and IMs on Facebook, it just showed me that there was a group of men out there that loved God, loved Jesus, served him, served other people. And those are the men that I want to be around. Those are the men that I want to speak to my heart. And so that's why I joined again. And that's why I'm going to join next time too, because of the quality of men that are in this group. I've been challenged to show up every single day. I've been challenged to be better today than I am yesterday. And so it's because of these guys.
I think for me, and this is my third session of Tribe, I think for me, it to piggyback off what Matthew said and the other guys have said, it's the quality of men. I made a post last week or this week, I can't remember, and I just told the guys that I have literally been to war with you guys spiritually, and to a man, everyone in Tribe has reached out to me at one time or another. Some guys multiple times, some guys have texted me, but at the very least, I've been reached out to on Facebook Messenger once or twice by everybody in Tribe. And it's a genuine brotherhood. It is a band of brothers. Like I said, I believe that we have gone to war with each other. And for me, that's what keeps me coming back. And for anybody that's thinking about coming in, or anybody that's on the fence of whether you want to sign back up, just remember, be careful what you wish for in this tribe. If you tell somebody, hey, brother, I need you to hold me accountable, you will be held accountable. So, but it's been a great experience for me, and I've really grown, not only as a man, but as a husband and a father.
Yeah, I'll chime in here. This is my second session of Tribe. The first one, I kind of had the general idea what I was getting into, but I wasn't, I hadn't come to the terms with the fact of you get in, you get out what you put into it. And so when I came in, I was like, well, I'm going to be sitting around here with a bunch of these guys. We're going to be talking Bible. I know my Bible pretty good. I'm going to show off my scriptural knowledge, and, it's just going to be rad and stuff. And that's not what it was at all. That there were so many guys in that group, number one, that knew scripture way better than I did, which was awesome and humbling. But like Bill said earlier, if you do have something to give, this is a perfect arena to do that. So we're definitely here to get from one another, but it's also a place where we can give and we can share. And if we've got a pulse, man, we've got a purpose. And we can fulfill a lot of that within this small group here. There's so many guys that they just give this knowledge and this wisdom and experience and stuff that I have benefited from so much. But I'm going to say this. One of the main reasons that I came back was because my wife asked me, are you going to do Tribe again? So whatever it was that I got out of that last session of Tribe, my wife picked up on it. She saw it. She appreciated it. She asked me if I was going to do it again, which I had already determined I was going to, talk to her about it and make sure she was cool with me doing it again. But she came to me first. And so that right there was just a huge testament about how powerful this group of men is that even my wife is seeing the benefits of it.
Doug, I got to chime in on that. You stole exactly what I was going to say, because my wife into September was going, hey, isn't it about time for another sign up for Tribe? Are you going to do that again? Because I really think you benefited from it. So yeah, she could really see the difference. And this second session has been, kind of a turning point for me. So it's been huge. So yeah, Doug, exactly the same thing.
And where Doug was talking about, hey, I know my Bible, I'm going to jump in with a group of guys like that. If you're questioning joining this group and you're like, oh, I don't know a whole lot of Bible, jump on in, man, because there's guys in this group that know a lot. There's guys in this group that are really new to their faith. So it doesn't matter where you're at. You're welcome. Just come on in, hop in.
I'm going to say, since I've been on here, I've learned my Bible a lot better. I really didn't know as much as I thought I should about it. And then every time when we go and get going through the New Testament again, I'm always highlighting and underlining different things because we're in a different phase of life when we hit a different passage or something there. And that's made a huge difference in my life. And being the discipline to be in the Word every day, knowing that everybody else is in it too, that's changed my life dramatically. Because now I'm in the Word every day. I'm disciplined in that, and now I'm getting more disciplined in other things, and it's kind of showing. And I can see the difference myself. And kind of big on Jocko and a Jocko fan, so I started reading about him. And then one day I was reading him, and it's like, I can do this. Tribe. I'm disciplined. I'm in the Word every day. Why can't I just be on keto every day? Now, and then I lost the weight and got my mini gym set up in the garage here now. So, not that I want to be a Navy SEAL or portray one, because Army all the way. But yeah, no, it's made a huge difference. And this is my fourth session. And I came in. A buddy of mine from around here introduced me to Pursuit of Manliness, and then he said, "Hey, let's go do Tribe." And then at first, my wife and I had to talk about the money a little bit, $150. Like, well, you're going to do it and not whatever. And that's kind of a driving force a little bit. You put a little skin into the game, and that's what it's all about. Then that's going to make you want to show up. If not, hey.
But hey, I'll say something. I've heard a couple guys talk about, initially when I learned about Tribe a couple years ago, and I thought, man, what kind of Bible study is $150? And then obviously that always kind of jumps up because, this is our opportunity to grow closer to God, and it shouldn't cost us anything because He already paid the price. But, I look back at it, in both sessions I've been a part of this, like, man, I would have paid $150,000 to see the results that I've been able to see, and they're not personal for me. I mean, I just, I think about this session. We've had, 3 or 4 guys talk about how they wanted to see them be able to develop, a prayer relationship with their wife and their kids, and how they've done that. And like, these are not, this is not even the return on the investment. That's not even personal for me is amazing. And I've gotten plenty of return myself, but when you gather around a group of like-minded people, it's just, we're all just, paying each other end over end over end. And the beauty of it is, this is just like, for me, the woman at the well. I want to tell every guy I know to sign up and be a part of this. And I'm like trying to twist their arms and, hey, do this. And you just don't know what this is until you experience it. And I just, for me, I can't understand not being a part of something like this, because I've grown up in locker rooms and in that situation my whole life, and I literally feel like I'm back in the clubhouse, with the guys after a game, and we're celebrating our wins and mourning our losses together. But we're growing from each and every one of those things, and it is by far, I'll find a way to, if I have to pick up pop cans on the side of the road, I'll never ever be beyond the point of being a part of this group.
I'll second that, AC. This is my second session as well. You and I actually were in the first session together, and I took a session off and wanted to try to build something at my church. And what you realize is that in today's world, men are uncomfortable being authentic, and I can be in that court as well. And this is a special group of men that challenges each other. And it's interesting. I was thinking about when I sought out manliness a couple of years ago, it was because I saw manliness under attack in our society. And having a young son, I wanted to understand what biblical manliness was, not just manliness, not the way the world was looking at manliness, but how should we as men look at manliness? And discovered on Facebook the pursuit of manliness, and started to build a relationship with guys there, and a relationship with Jarrett, and seeing quality men like TJ pouring into that group every single day, and then finding out that there was a group like this that was the private group called Tribe. I just knew that, okay, this next session, I have to be a part of this to understand what this is. And taking a session off, it was probably 2 months in of being off where I thought, I got to go back. Like, I got to get back. And, signed up, and now I can't see not signing up, going forward, as long as Jarrett's willing to host us in his garage.
As far as it goes, this will be going on 7 sessions? Man, I'm tired of y'all.
You're like a shareholder at this point, right? After 7 sessions, like you're.
Man, no. The reason I keep signing up, first of all, Jarrett is authentic. I am going to follow a man that is willing to be authentic, that is going to push Jesus the right way. He's going to challenge you. He's going to pray for you. He's going to always be there no matter what. So for me, it's always been the brotherhood of the men that keep coming in. It's just a better caliber of men every session. I mean, me and Jarrett will talk back and forth like, what's going to happen this session? Well, all of a sudden, the next caliber of men come in and they just explode, and there's a new fire, and the dynamic of the group changes every single time. And it seems like we always have the men that fall off, but where you have those that fall off, you have the men that come in and just pick you up. And like all these men have said, I mean, we're going through our own personal hell in a lot of areas in our lives, and we're able to bring it to this place, pour it out, you're safe. And I mean, my wife, she posted today, I think under my tribe post of, I just love the fact that you're seeking Jesus more and more. And, we went through all kinds of chaos, and here we are, and she's beyond thankful for Tribe. So it's just an excuse if you're not signing up. That's all it is.
Well, and something else real quick that, we've touched on it a little bit. We talk a lot about the brotherhood and stuff like that. I'm making friends here, man, like real friends that I will have probably until the rest of my life. I remember towards the end of the last session of Tribe, how many guys like TJ, Matt, Garrison, we were all hitting each other up going, are you doing it again? Are you doing it again? And it was just really, really encouraging to see all the guys that I was hoping were going to do it again, all did it again. And here we are, and chances are, I don't know how many of you guys have signed up again, but I could probably off the top of my head name all the ones that I know will be back in the next session. And that's just awesome, and then this session, we had some new guys come in that, I mean, I'm closer with these dudes than some guys in my own life. And it's just phenomenal. The friendships, man, the friendships are huge.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that from having skipped a session, coming back and seeing the guys that were on here and just catching back up with them. On great, authentic friendships.
When I left, I was on for 2 sessions and took one off because I thought I was going to be too busy, didn't have time for it, and had other needs I needed to do. And I found out very quickly that I should have been in that session of Tribe, and I needed that session of Tribe, and I came back right away, and I'm in it for the long haul now because just missing that camaraderie, missing that daily discipline. I thought, oh, I can do it, I can stay on it, and it wasn't there. I wasn't part of that group, and every day guys are putting stuff on there. Every day somebody's doing something different, and that's what makes a difference. So, I mean, you put into it and become a part of it, man. You just don't not want to be a not part of it. Probably won't edit that out. That didn't make sense. But yeah, no, just being part of it, man, it's just great. And I can't imagine not being in it.
We're all guys, and we're all, no guy wants to be outdone by another guy. So when you see a guy post something, you're like, oh, okay, now I guess I better, stop being lazy, and I need to get my post in. But I just, I have to piggyback off of what's been said about the genuine friendships that I've made within Tribe. I mean, I'm looking at everybody that's on the call, and I can't think of anybody on here who hasn't genuinely reached out to me as a friend, or I haven't genuinely reached out to them as a friend. I mean, these guys are salt of the earth. So if it means I need to pay $150 every 6 months to have friends, hey, it's well worth it to me.
And on the topic of guys sizing each other up, we all like, hey, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? I haven't seen guys, this is me personally, I haven't seen guys been sized up like that. I've seen a lot of guys in this group find out what other guys do for a living and gravitate towards that and use that as an in, but really genuine hearts in the aspect of, man, that's where God's got this guy. How can I help this guy in his life to go to the next stepping stone, so to speak? How can I help you out where you're at? Hey, I need help here. Guys are really, really eager to say, hey, I need help, which is not something a lot of guys end up doing. I've seen a lot of guys reach out and say, dudes, I need help right now. I need prayer. And they'll drop one post on Facebook, and you'll have like 20 thumbs up and 18 different guys that have said, hey, we're on it. Got you covered in prayer right now.
A lot of you guys are talking about relationships and using the word friends and friendships. And I've seen guys through the years, and I know even recently, go out of their way to connect with one another. Hey, I'm not that far from you. Let's grab lunch. I'm going through your area, etc. I know in my own home, I will talk about a good number of you guys like you go to my church. Like my wife and kids know your names. They know of you. Or I go, oh, it's that guy, or that guy that lives in, Louisiana, or that guy in, New Jersey or whatever. And of course, I have a map hanging in my house where I have pins where every guy from Tribe has been. So it's a buy-in from our family, as you guys have said as well. The cost, there's a financial cost. There's a time cost because you're giving up your Tuesday night. We're all in different time zones. Some of you ate dinner. Some of you are ready to go to bed. We have a Thursday call, et cetera. But one of the obstacles that I think is key when you're talking about relationships that some guys struggle with is the virtual aspect. We all hate Facebook. Let's be honest. We all hate it. We all hate Zoom. We all hate some of these things, but they can be used for good. And so when you talk about these friendships or relationships in Tribe that you're able to pull from that, the question is how are you able to get that for these guys? Because there's a lot of men that don't have these relationships. There is a safety in the distance, but there is also a camaraderie that's forged through the journey of the 6 months.
I'll tell you what, for me, it comes down to being a friend. You have to reach out to these guys, and you have to, like Jarrett said, you have to put an investment, not just a financial investment, but an emotional investment. You have to get raw and real with these guys, and when you do, the payback that you get from that is immeasurable. So you got to be a friend to get a friend, and I feel like that some of these guys in this Tribe, man. I haven't sat in the same room with them. I've never seen them face to face, but I know that to a man, I could call them up right now and have a 2-hour conversation about anything I needed to, and hopefully they know that it's the same for them.
Well, it's kind of hard to put that into words too, because, you know, I don't know. I don't know, Jarrett, why it works. I have no idea. Like if you would have told me, yeah, you're going to do these Zoom calls and these challenge videos, and by doing that, you're going to get to know these guys. I don't know how that works, but I know that it's okay for me to say that Ted would look pretty in a pink skirt. You know what I mean? And I don't know the guy. I don't know the guy any better than you guys do, but I do. But I know the guy, and so I don't know. I think we downplay, you know, the intimacy of this internet thing sometimes, because it does work. I don't know how it works, but it works. I know all you guys. I love all you guys, and I know that I can call all of you friend. And I've never met. Well, I've met some of you face to face, but most of you I haven't. But yeah, it just works. It just works.
I think honestly, a lot of it truly comes from being authentic. I think as soon as you step in and you show yourself and you're authentic, it changes everything. Like when Doug Cole came in the first time, he put out a video, and then he came back and he's like, guys, I wasn't authentic. And right then I was like, all right, I'm all in on this guy. I know that he's a good dude, because he owned up to it and said, I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to share everything with you. And here it is. And then all these new guys have done that exact same thing. They're realizing, okay, to step into this, you have got to be an authentic man. If you're lying on this thing, you're going to get caught at some point. I mean, these guys are too smart, and everyone is holding each other accountable. And I think that's just it. It's one of those, if you try hiding in this group, you better expect some call outs. You know, so it's one of those where it's a call out, though, out of love. It's a call out. It's not to chuck a stone at you. It's a call out to say, hey, where are you at, man? We need you with the tribe. We need you in this crew. We want you back. Put your input in, and that's where that brotherhood comes in.
I think too, you look around and you see that this group of men, you know, you're scattered all over the country. You got East Coast, West Coast, and everything in the middle. You got different ages. You got different churches. You got different careers. You got some military guys. You got some firefighters. You got some guys that are police officers. You got some guys who are electricians and pilots and pastors. And we do all of these different things. We have all these different hobbies. But ultimately, the reason that we're able to build these relationships is because we are all washed by the same blood, okay? We are all Romans 3:23 sinners that have fallen short of the glory of God, and here we come together as a support group to become sanctified beyond that. And I think that ultimately Jesus, his blood has brought us together. And man, what better way to grow than look around and you see a whole group of guys that are flawed and realizing that authentic part is, I just want to be better.
Yeah, I think for me, it's I don't want to let these guys down. You know, I made a commitment that I was going to be active and I was going to be engaging, and so I don't want to let them down. And because if I do, I know that my feet are going to be held to the fire. I mean, I went on vacation one week and didn't engage at all. I felt cruddy because I let my team down, my family down. But then also I had a lot of text messages asking me, where you at? Where you at, man? You haven't done your video. You haven't done any comments. You haven't participated like you said you would. You can't be falling away from this. You got to make sure that you live up to your commitment. So for me, I don't want to let these guys down.
Hey, Jared, I'd like to add that I know earlier you asked the question about safety, and the things that we share. And, I know Doug said, I'm not sure how this works and why. And, for me, it's that concrete experience that people share in that very first week on that very first video challenge. And when they share, you can begin to connect, and you find out that there are some men of character in here, guys that really let their values shine through. And that develops some credibility. And so you feel that space where you can come in and share some things, and things that I probably wouldn't share in my own congregation because I just don't trust them. Guys in here reach out to me more often than my own congregation does. And so that just goes to the level of commitment that people have, and they care and, and love each other here. And they have empathy, and that was really important to me. And when you start to see that, when you start to hear the things that people share, you're like, oh boy, this is going to be something. This is going to be a ride. And you have to, brace for that, because you're going to be different at the end of that 6 months.
So what I was going to say is, one of the biggest things with this group is that authenticity that everybody's talking about. The times where I've fallen away because I've just had so much going on, you guys that reach out, you guys just keep bringing me back. You guys constantly try to find out what's going on, how I'm doing. And that's huge. I did have a group of guys locally from the local church. And after we finished up our last study, everything kind of just fell apart. So this has been one of the only things that's been continual. And with that, you guys have been huge in just kind of keeping me going. So just wanted to put those 2 cents in.
Yeah, and to that end, I've been thinking about this as you guys are talking, and Travis, you just hit on it. Some guys have said, most guys have said, hey, guys have been hitting me up. They send me direct messages. They text message me. I know I've been on a phone call with numerous guys in here. You guys have reached out to me. It's not because we're bored. There's not a guy on here who has absolutely nothing to do tonight or tomorrow. Many of you guys are juggling several things. We're able to watch, Michael Staton preach. We're able to see guys do different things. I remember watching one of the guys doing a Go Ruck thing. I think it was last session or one before. We have men who are they're living their life. There's a lot going on, and they're juggling a lot of things. But there's a magnetic pull here to the camaraderie that they find here, whether it's lacking where they're at or it supplements what they already have. These guys are not bored. These guys are professionals. They're legit. They're involved in their churches, families, et cetera. So that's often the case. Guys go, I just don't have time. Well, we make time because it's worth it, because you get one shot at this day. And these guys that are here right now decided this is a value. Not that we need to hear this, because we've already been talking about this for 4 months, but there's somebody I think that's in their earbuds right now that needs to hear this conversation. And if you're watching this on YouTube, this is what the Zoom calls look like. And, we're a little more formal tonight because we're trying to present ourselves a little better, but typically this is what it is. We have a topic, we talk about it, and there's a wealth of wisdom from these men. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap up here?
I'll just chime in with one thing there, Jarrett. Anybody who's thinking about joining Tribe, just keep in mind that you'll get into it you'll get out of it what you put into it. If you want to pay your money and then just never show up, don't expect that just because you paid a fee that somehow your life is going to get better tomorrow. That's not the way it works. You've heard several of the guys say that we don't know exactly how this works, but I can tell you how it doesn't, and that's by just not showing up at all. And unfortunately, I know this is my first session, and at the beginning of the session, Jarrett told us there will be some guys that for whatever reason just kind of drop out on us and we don't hear from again. And I don't know how many times I've had conversations with some of the guys that are more active that it's a shame we've lost several. And by several, I probably mean, I don't know, 15 or so that we just haven't heard from since the beginning of the session. They obviously got nothing out of it, and that's sad. So if you put in the work, you put in time, like he said, we all have the same 24 hours each day. But if you'll just show up every day, for goodness sakes, even if you just do the reading, at least you're in the Word every day. So I would just encourage anyone thinking about joining Tribe, just put some investment into it, put some skin in the game, and I promise you, your life, your spiritual walk, your daily walk with Christ, your family life, you'll just be a better man because of it.
Once again, men, thanks for listening to the Pursuit of Manliness podcast. As always, go to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of them are at Pursue Manliness. Go to facebook.com/groups/Pursuit of Manliness and go to thepursuitofmanliness.com to find all things the pursuit of manliness. Men, thanks for listening, and let's keep pursuing biblical manliness.